Hello there, hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. It's Josh here from racingtheprofit.co.uk. I thought I would do a quick preview video. I'm going to try and keep this as snappy as I can of the 20 past 2 from Cheltenham on Saturday, the Paddy Power Gold Cup Handicap Chase, which is a Premier Handicap. I'm going to try and say a few things that you may find interesting for this race moving forwards, various other bits and pieces. I have whizzed through it. I've probably missed something, but yeah, I hope to say something of interest that may help you land on the winner. As always with these preview videos, I'm in the excellent GG's Gold, ggs.co.uk, and as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link below the video, you can take a cheap trial if you wish, and if you like solving your own puzzle, it's definitely worth a go. So what am I going to start with? Well, having pondered for, well, not overly long, but I have decided that Stolen Silver at what is around 6-1 looks like the bet to my eyes in this race. I suppose I will go on to say why. He's obvious enough. I was slightly surprised. Well, I suppose 6 isn't massive in a race like this, but especially with 5 and 6 places available, it to me kind of looked like bar a fall or being brought down. I struggled to see him being there or thereabouts. What was the process? Well, any long-time listeners know I kind of only approach these types of races for a bit of fun and something interesting to say, including as well through the cards. My main specimen focus is on staying chasers 3 miles and further. That's where I kind of officially tip, but no doubt Stolen Silver might be the only winner I have all weekend. Having just said that, so Saturday's ITV Trends and Trainers, which I do for members, usually 1 or 2 big handicaps each week. You can see there's different approaches to trends and all sorts, of course. They can be quite subjective. I have my own approach using the excellent horse race base in order to try and narrow down the field, or at least give us some pointers. And yeah, with this particular race, the sample size is 14 from 253 in the last 14 renewals. Runners 56 placed horses. You can see that 14-14 had run at Cheltenham at least twice previously over hurdles or fences, had 0-3 handicap wins, indicating they were still open to progress. I like to offer these 4 plus a 0 for 51 7 places when they kind of have a more than 10% play strike rate. It does make the stats so-so, but they're still a guide. 14-14 had 0-2 handicap chase wins again, so generally indicating, and I suppose it's no big surprise in big handicaps like this or handicaps in general, you're looking at horses that are at the kind of more exposed end and lightly raced and fewer wins within handicaps, as the handicapper may not yet be on top of them, and they're still making progress up the ranks. Generally in big races like this, it can pay to focus on the more unexposed horses, or the horses you still think are open to progress and where you could say there is more to come at some point, rather than the other way, which is hitting a ceiling and then coming back down. 13-14 running 10 or fewer handicaps, age 7-9, 12 or 14, 5-6 with the other 2 winners. And so they haven't done too badly. 14-1 or short of the market, it's generally been a fairly good guide. Rated 148 or lower, although higher isn't that much of a detriment, although it's not easy, but can depend on obviously the level of the opposition, and so on and so forth. And yeah, you can see there there's trainer points as well. Nigel Twiston Davis has won this 3 times, so on and so forth. There's some for the Greatwood Handicap Hurdle, which is on Sunday when I need to apply these, but there's a few different stats there. I suppose you can pause the video and note those down if you wish. The trends shortlist, so I apply those different stats and trends. So just applying the 14 from 14 stats, if upholding, they don't always uphold, of course, would point to 6. Stolen Silver, the H1 just indicates he is top rated within horse race base, which is a set of ratings. I do use a kind of guide as well, I suppose. Stolen Silver, Galahad Crest, Happy Go Lucky, Mr. Fisher, Slate House, Deran de Carjac. That's from the 14-14 stats. they might fall down on some of the others. I'm not 100% sure. 0 to 10 runs in handicaps has been a positive. Only 3 hit that. Stolen Silver, Happy Go Lucky, Mr. Fisher. So possibly the winner is on that list of 6. Of course, that happens plenty, but it also happens a fair bit that they're not mentioned on that short list, but they kind of mentioned somewhere, including the trainers list. So these are horses representing the trainers who have won the race before. They clearly know what it takes to win the race. Have they targeted it again, either with the same horse or a different horse, and so on and so forth? So that might be of mild interest. I'm going to now jump back over to here. So I'm going to click the Instant Expert first of all. This is looking at a profile of what the horses have achieved to date. It doesn't cover, of course, whether a horse may improve for a step up in trip, for example, or improve for running at Cheltenham for the first time, a stronger pace, a galloping trap, a hill, you name it. But it does give you a guide on what horses have achieved to date. You can play around with the different settings. Very useful if the ground changes, and so on and so forth. I'm going to set this to Class 1 and Class 2. So Class 1 handicap, decent performance in Class 2 handicaps can be a solid guide as well. Those jumping up from Class 3 or yet to win above Class 3 obviously have more of a question. This is just looking at all chasers, so you can see here the ground is set as good. I don't think this is going to get any wetter. There's no rain forecast. They might water, but it might dry out and be kind of good, on the easy side of good. Stolen Silver has kind of ticked every box over fences in terms of what he's done to date. Not field size, which is a question, but yeah, good ground, Class 1. He's won at the course. I can click this in line. You can see one in April, over 21 furlongs here. So the track and trip is no problem at all. There's a few here that tick a few other boxes but are running over fences at Cheltenham for the first time. That's just an unknown. Some of them may of course be just fine. Umbrigado ticks a few boxes, interesting as well to some degree. I might touch on him as well. Now if I click handicap chases, so this is the horses forming handicap chases, you can see there again in terms of those that have ran on the going, the class, the course, the distance, in handicap chases, you can see Stolen Silver kind of tick the boxes. He's also still open to improvement. I think he is only 7, but again I'll touch on that in a moment. Umbrigado has shown the class, has won over this trip. He's well handicapped again. Does he want further now? That's the one question, but if they go a really hard pace and he can keep up in touch, he could be interesting. Is there anything else I want to touch on this stage? No, not really. Obviously, you can pause the video, look at that screen, do as you want. That's on the win side. I can do the place. So you can see the place there, simply the bets, possibly from an each way perspective, maybe. Cool Cody. Has a ground question, I suppose. Arguably might want it a bit softer, especially as 11 now, and he's probably slowing down a bit. Stolen Silver yet to be out the places on this going, in handicap chases, at least 3 from 3. Umbrigado ticks a few boxes again. You could just look at all codes, handicaps, just see who has experience of the course, and then obviously there's a few more there as well that have ran here before. So then there's the handicap ratings down here. Those that are kind of a minus figure indicates they're above their last winning mark. So simply the bets is £3. Last win was off 149. Today is 152. Of course they could have previously won off higher, so you can dive in, and of course the horses may still be open to progress, like I think Stolen Silver may be. Umbrigado and Nassalam back down to their last winning mark. The rest of them are all above it. Not Darren Jakajak, he's £11 below his last winning mark as well. What did I want to say? So Stolen Silver, what boxes does he tick? These little kind of icons here, the trainer, and you can see all sorts here. So Sam Thomas is in great form, 3 from 9, 7 places in the last 14 days. He had Our Power won that nice handicap chase at Ascot in his first run of the season. It looks like he's got them fit if he wants to. He had a horse very nearly win, or was a close third place today. I'm talking on Friday evening around 5 p.m. This afternoon in one of the chases on seasonal return. Also, he ran well, so the yard are ticking along just fine. He tends to know which horse to send to Cheltenham. in the last 5 years. Some of these stats down here are just a bit silly. Sam Thomas with all chasers, he's turning into quite a trainer. He's still early in his career, but he can't half train a chaser. 18 from 68. These snippets in the last 2 years: 18 from 68, 31 places. Very good stats there. The profit levels. He does well with last time out winners. He gets them to hold their form. 13 from 41, 21 places. He can ready them after a break. No problem there. These little report angles again, that highlights some of the other decent stats. Sam Twiston Davis has a good record when riding for him as well. The horse, I can open up his profile here. He's 4 from 9, 19, 18 places. Decent win strike rate, 2 from 9, 5 places over fences, and he's 2 from 5, 3 places in handicap chases. Again, you can do all this little profiling bits and bobs here. That would indicate to me there's still more to come. His improvement, obviously, he was a grade 2 winner here at Haydock. He's run in some big grade 3 handicaps. That's always a good sign. Big field, grade 3 level, stayed on there. That was in a 24 runner race, so field size actually may not be a problem. It took a little while for it to click over fences, maybe running over too short a trip initially. The improvement came with experience and time, and just getting older and stronger. They then put him back over hurdles. Maybe thought he was running a bit too early there over hurdles. Another summer at Grassend, Market Raisin won easily. Cheltenham over 2 miles at this meeting last year, kept on, always held off 140, 148 Racing Post rating. Again, that's something else you can look for. Progressive Rating Post ratings, are the numbers continuing to climb? That's not a bad sign either, especially if they're much bigger than the mark they ran off or won off, and still above the mark they now have. That can be a loose guide as well. He ran in the grade 1, probably outpaced a bit there and outclassed. Wincanton, it might not be a shock that his 2 wins in handicap chase have been on decent ground. Good ground there, and the ground has come right for him. He's struggled a little bit on softer. He ran in the big handicap here, equivalent, I suppose, at the festival, I should say. 8 to 15 runners, Cool Cody, very well again there, but tracked the leaders, ridden after 3 out, disputing 4th home turn, mistake 2 out, kept on but not the pace to challenge, and then returned. So that was a good runner, running on 4th, and he's still a young horse and open to improvement. And then in this April meeting, maybe he didn't beat much, though simply the bet's an okay yardstick, but he has absolutely hacked up by 11 lengths. So I thought the course form, grade 3 form, the yard form is still unexposed. He's still open to progress. He will likely track the pace, provided he gets the usual luck in running in the races like this. I did not see a reason why he wouldn't run a monster race here, and actually thought 6s for those reasons were good. He won on seasonal return last year, so those looking for, can he be ready in fitness at home? He stayed on the year before that over an adequate trip. That suggested he was fit. Plenty of his form reads well. Plenty of these races have worked out well. If I just click this down here, the then what feature, races that produce subsequent winners, especially handicaps as well, or graded races, indicating he was in and around horses also open to progress, in and around well handicapped horses, in and around in-form horses that have continued to improve and frank that form, and may have been well handicapped at the time. And any kind of decent run at the Cheltenham Festival can always be marked up, because they're pretty much as competitive as the handicaps get. So, he literally ticks every box. Probably he's going to run seat rider at the first now, or be brought down. But I just saw no reason why he A, wasn't going to run his race, and B, why that was not going to be good enough to put him there or thereabouts. Having Mr. Fisher in off 156 helps keep the weight down a little bit. So yeah, that's Stolen Silvers. I tick round to 15 minutes, which is probably long enough. Hopefully I've said something useful there. Like I said, ticks various different boxes, and I thought in these conditions at this track, I did not see, and yard form, blah, 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 I'm repeating myself, why he wouldn't run a big race. I think he's still open to progress. That was off 143. £7 wouldn't have stopped him last time. He has, the weight should be fine. I think he posted a RPR 155. That's still above the mark he has here. Obviously, he does need to improve again. That race possibly wasn't the best, but plenty of them before. He just looks short to run his race, surely, and he should be thereabouts. With 5 places, 6-1, feels a bit silly, I suppose. Kind of a fun each way bet to nothing for TV interest is what I've done, and we'll see if it pays off. I may not have mentioned the winner. I'm not going to go through everything, so I'll be here all day. Just to highlight a few things you can use, not necessarily for this race, but others. The trainer form stats always interesting. Nicky Henderson is starting to roll. 8 from 19, 13 places in the last 14 days, 72% of rivals beaten, most of his horses finishing nearer the front than the back. So Nicky Henderson, no shock, massive yard, of course, for the Paul Nicholls horses, just in mad form. 1941, 26 places in the last 14 days, 46% win strike rate, 74% rivals beaten, so evidently the Nicholls horses. Kim Bailey's are now just starting to rock and roll. 9 from 29 last 30 days, 4 from 10, 5 places last 14, 80% of rivals beaten. Interesting. Happy Go Lucky, he won the Ultimate. Is this trip going to be too sharp for him now? And it's his first run in 581 days. I suppose that was enough to put me off. If he rocks up here, wins this off 151 after that break, he's clearly had an injury, clearly had problems, then fair play to him. He is entered in the Coral Cup. What was the Hennessy? Is that the plan? Is this a prep for that? I don't know, but he evidently does have more 3-mile handicap chases in him, I think, or maybe will he need his mark to come down again? He will need to improve a little bit. French Dynamite is unexposed, arrives in form. Irish, clearly, evidently decent. Some smaller field chase form here, I suppose. Didn't run overly well in this novice handicap at Punchestown. Maybe that was the end of a long season. That race has worked out particularly well. I suspect he will run his race. I suppose, given the course form, that tips it in Stolen Silver's kind of favour for me. But clearly, French Dynamite could run well, and you might think he's the one to be with. But I would prefer personally Stolen Silver's form. There's a Mouse Morris horse. Midnight River's okay, but I wondered if he would be up to this class. We didn't do much wrong last time. Umbrigado's interesting. David Pipe in fine form, 7 from 25, 8 places. Do watch the Pipe horses. They're having a decent season. He's had a decent summer. This one is fit after a spin. He's had 2 spins over hurdles. He stayed on here. I'm not quite sure what this form is worth. They now put the blinkers on for the first time, so they keep trying different things. He's 8, but he is only 3 from 6 chasing. He is 2 from 3 handicap chases. He returns chasing here. He pulled up an entry there, possibly with a problem. He did win this Newbury race over 20 furlong. I kind of thought, given that hurdle form there, whether or not he now may want 3 miles, but that's a bit of an unknown. He has gone round on decent ground before. The blinkers, of course, will help sharpen him up. He's race fit. The yard are in fine form. The handicap mark, he's back onto what he won off here in this Newbury Grade 3 handicap chase, similar kind of trip. He would appreciate this slightly stiffer course and distance than that Newbury 20 furlongs. That form was okay at the time. Maybe this is his trip over fences. There is a fair bit of pace on paper here. I could see them going very hard. Now, if he can jump and gallop and keep up, he is going to be running on at the end. I can see why some people fancy him. So maybe Umbrigado is the other one of potential interest, who looks like to run his race if he can keep up, if he remembers how to jump, having been hurdling the last twice. This may well have been a canny plan. The blinkers may help him, as long as they don't spark him up too much. So maybe Umbrigado is the other interesting one, having had a flick through again. Maybe the course form and kind of Grade 3 handicap experience, bigger field experience might put Stolen Silver and Umbrigado for me ahead of, say, Jamie Snowden's horse here, but he is 6-year-old. He's unexposed. He's in form. It is harder for the 5 and 6-year-olds to win, but not impossible, as you've seen from the stats. That might turn out to be an okay race, but it is his first run around here, I think. Il Deredito, only 5, but Paul Nicholls is clearly on fire. This horse is unexposed in handicaps. He is unexposed over this distance. He will need a fair bit more than this air race, I think. He has been free in the past. He's had a wind op. Some of this form is a bit so-so. He's clearly a likeable horse. He could well be interesting given the yard form and his overall lightly raced profile. Again, Stolen Silver for me ticks a few more boxes, and possibly Umbrigado as well. But he is still in the could be anything camp as a handicapper. He was pitched into some decent novice races back in the day, so maybe he's interesting. Does he want softer ground? Possibly. Slate House is getting on a bit. You'd like to think he's open to attack from from younger rivals and better treated. Storm Control is a 3 mile. I didn't think he would have the pace for this course and distance. He knows how to win. He has decent form. The yard are now starting to tick along and go okay. You've seen the Kerry Lee and Richard Patrick. This was before Magic Dancer won today, 5 from 21, 11 place. I flagged that in the email I sent out. That's a kind of combo to watch around here. Obviously, that horse has won round here before as well. But I'd have thought this happens a bit too quick for him, and he's open to attack from younger, better treated horses. Galahad Quest, interesting to a point. Only 1 from 11 chasing, does find it hard to win. At least he should come here spot on after this return run. Now, he's probably a bet for each way. I didn't like him for win purposes, I suppose. He was 5th in this last year, but of course he was only 5, so he is a bit older. I thought he might want softer ground. This drying ground isn't in his favour. He was the nearest finished here. I would, off 135. He could be in the top 5 or 6 again. I just thought, given his overall profile, something might be better here. This kind of second here to Torn and Frayed on decent ground in January this year, I didn't quite think that kind of form would be good enough to take a race like this, but it might be good enough given his course form and experience to run into the places. So I certainly wouldn't put that past him, but I just thought yeah, he's struggled to get much closer than those efforts in these types of races, and I thought he would need to improve and step forward. But of course, maybe he's open to do that. Darren de Carjac struggles to win. Ran 14 days ago, but I suppose at least fit and in form. But again, thought there might be something with a bit more class and a bit more ability, beaten in similar sorts of races around here before, of course, as you can see there. Yeah, 21 minutes. I've gone on far too long. Hopefully I've said something there about trainer form, whatever else. The Tizard horses, you can see, are in fine form. Oh, I should finish with pace, shouldn't I? I haven't touched on that, silly boy. One of the most important aspects. Generally, as anyone that read that report I sent out, it can pay to be in this kind of leading prominent group. It can be harder to be held up and to come from the back in any handicap chase. Of course, if they go too quick and you get luck in running, it's possible. Cool Cody will be up there. French Giant will be up there. Storm Control if he's got the pace. Edgar de Guy is now a non-runner. Happy Go Lucky if he's got the pace. Stolen Silver, I think, should be able to sit prominent, sit handy, maybe be on the front end, no problem, in a no excuses position in a race like this. It's another tick in his box. I think he could have a bit more pace than some of these. Storm Control, Happy Go Lucky being 3 milers. Cool Cody, the ground possibly not soft enough, but he'll be up there. Cool Cody will be up there. Should be run at a decent enough gallop, I think. And yeah, I suppose that is that. So with that said, I will shut up and leave it there. Hopefully Stolen Silver can get the job done, and Brigado may run his race also, and we shall see. But yeah, do post a comment down below if you think I'm talking nonsense. All polite such comments are more than welcome. Or if you have a strong fancy in the race, don't be shy. We always celebrate the winners and ignore the losers down in the comments. So yeah, if you fancy anything or any questions or thoughts or observations or any questions at all of anything racing related I've just said, then yeah, do post a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer in good time. But with that said, this is Josh saying thanks for watching. Be lucky. Best of luck if playing any horse in this race, and until the next time, bye for now.